Okay, so you guys survived lesson 1. That one was a difficult one, and lucky for us on this one's going to be a pretty simple lesson for today. I will tell you one thing. We're looking for estimates. Don't just try to solve the problem, okay? We're looking for estimates because remember, we have this little squiggly line equal sign, okay? That is where we are saying it is an estimate. So we're not looking for the exact answer. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna round these factors to estimate a product. Now, what you might have for one problem might not be what your neighbor has. Because you guys can actually round it a couple different ways. We do want to use our rounding rules to round them, but some people might do it a little bit differently. We'll do letter A, and I'll kind of show you how you could possibly have some different ones. If I were to look at 597, what would I round it to? Well, for me personally, I would want to round that to 600, okay? And 52, what could I round 52 to? Well, I'm going to round that down to 50. Okay, so now what I can go ahead and do is now I want to know what does this actually equal what I had rounded. So 6 times 5 is going to be 30. Okay, and remember this is where you guys have to be careful. So my answer is 30, and then how many additional zeros do I need to add? 1, 2, 3. I need to add 3 additional, not 3 altogether, 3 additional. So this answer is going to be 30,000. Now, where I'm saying some people could do this a little bit differently is maybe they want to round this down to 590. Okay, would go against our rounding rules, but it is something that you could do. So if we come here and it says a reasonable estimate for 597 times 52 is 30,000. That is it. So we're just going to be rounding. So let's look at letter B. Letter B, I've got 1,130 times 59. Let's see here. What could I round this to? Now, I could do something easy and say, well, you know what? I'm just going to round it to 1,000. Or I could round it to 1,100. And then I could round 59 to 60. Okay. And so then basically what I would do from knowing what I did, what is 11 times 6? 11 times 6 would be 66. And then I've got 100 times 10, which would be 1,000. This answer, reasonable answer, would be 66,000. Okay. Letter C, let's see here. Reasonable estimate for 5,840. Now, some of you guys might say, well, I want to round that up to 6,000. Okay, you could do that. I probably would round that to 5,800 is what I would want to round that to. Okay, 25, well, if you go with what our rounding rule is, we've got that 5. That 5 is going to tell me to bump this up to a 3, so it's actually going to be 30. So then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do 58 times 3 because that's not something I can do in my head. 8 times 3 is 24. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 more is 174. So I have 174, and then I've got 110, which would be 1,000. So this reasonable answer for this one would be 174,000. That is it, guys. It's pretty simple. We're going to do the same thing down here, and actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some lines so I don't get kind of messy. So if you guys want to draw some lines while we're doing this, so I can get here. Okay, so they already did the first one for me, and oh, look what they did. They did round that 2,890 to 3,000, and this 42 to 40, and they got 120,000. So here they've got 28,090, and I'm going to round that to, I could round it to 30,000, or I could round it to 28,000. Let's round it to 30,000. And then this 420, you know what? I'm gonna round it to 400, just kind of like what they did there, okay? Now, if you wanted to keep this at 28,000, I would definitely make sure that you do this by 4 so that it is an easier number to multiply. So now with my estimate, I've got 3 times 4 is 12. And then let's count, we've got 10,000 times 100, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. And I'm going to group them, and I'm going to get 12 million. Okay. Ooh, 8,932. I know I'm going to round that up to 9,000 right off the bat. And I'm going to multiply this one times, I know I'm going to round that up to 60. Okay, so 9 times 6 is 54. And if I have 1,000 times 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to add 4 zeros. That answer is 540,000. Okay, now take a look down here. That this is where it's going to say the 89 tens and 63 tens. When you come over here, we actually do need to write it in this numerical form. We don't want to keep it in that unit form. So 89 tens, I'm going to round that up to 90 tens. Well, if you think about it, 90 tens is not 90. 90 tens is 900. Okay. And I'm going to round this to 60 tens. And remember, 60 tens is not 60. 60 tens is 600. So then I can do 9 times 6. 9 times 6 is going to give me 54. And then I've got 100 times 100, which is going to be 10,000. So I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, group it, and it's 540,000. Okay. All right, 398 hundreds. So I'm going to round that up to 400 hundreds. And then I'm going to round 52 tens. I'm going to round that down to 50 tens, okay? So remember, it's not 400. It's 400 hundreds. So guys, remember, if you guys are confused, please get out this place value chart. So I have 400 hundreds, and I've got to add these 2 zeros because it's 400 hundreds, okay? So that one is going to be 40,000. So I've got 40,000 times, and I've got 50 tens, guys. Remember, 50 tens. So I've got 50 tens, and I'm going to add my 0. So 50 tens is actually 500. Oops, sorry, guys. So I have 500. Okay, this is going to be another one that comes back to the problem that we had on Friday, is that you just can't sit there and say, okay, well, I'm going to count up these zeros, and that's how many zeros I have. Because, guys, what is 5 times 4? 5 times 4 is 20. We cannot count that 0 in how many zeros you're going to add from both of these. Okay, so I'm going to have 20, and then how many zeros do I need to add? Well, I've got 10,000 times 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's going to be 1,000,000. So the answer is actually 20 million, because I need to add 6 zeros. So it's really important that do not get stuck with this, because you don't just have 2 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I need to check if I've got 6 zeros. Well, I've got 7. You're right, there should be 7, because you cannot ignore this 0 on that 20, because the answer is 20 million, not 2 million.